Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and in this video we're going to be talking about the best shoes for guards, right? So if you're a guard, you probably want something a little bit more minimal, a little bit more lightweight, very responsive, so amazing traction, low to the ground feel for the cushion, but still adequate impact protection, right? So yeah, there are 4 tiers. We got S tier, we got A tier, B tier, and then nah. So S tier, of course, this shoe is amazing for guards. A is this shoe is pretty nice, but obviously S tier is better. There are a few flaws, I would say. And then for B, I would say it's not the best option, but you can make it work. And then nah, just don't do it. You know what I mean? So if you guys do want to get any of these shoes, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. It does help me out if you do choose to get any of these shoes from the links. Thank you guys always for all of the support. But yeah, of course, this is just my list and my personal opinion. So if you disagree with the list, tell us what your list would be down in the comment section below. But yeah, let's get started with the MB3. Yeah, that's a nah. It's very, I don't even know how LaMelo plays in these. You know what I mean? It's really bulky, it's heavy, it's boot-like, it's stiff, it's clunky. You know what I mean? There's a lot of padding, which, it's comfortable, but not the best for guards, and the traction isn't great. So yeah, nah. All right, we got the Puma All Pro Nitro, which is easy S tier. Yeah, I give it a solid S tier. The traction is really good. Cushion also is low to the ground. It's responsive. It's not super soft. It's not super bouncy. Not a lot of compression or anything like that. So it is pretty responsive. Thin material is supportive as well, especially on lateral movements. So I give it an S tier, right? And just make sure to get the translucent outsole, because I had the translucent outsole, is really nice. I had some friends with a solid rubber outsole, which wasn't the best for traction, so there's that. All City 12, I give it a solid A because the traction isn't top tier. To be an S tier, the traction has to be top tier for guards, of course. So that's why I'm putting the AC12 in A tier, because the traction is really solid, but it's not the best. It picks up a little bit of dust, and it's not the best bite, especially comparing to the predecessor, the AC11. So, but the cushion is really, really nice, low to the ground. It's very comfortable for step and comfort because of the soft mesh showboard. It's a thin material. It's supportive as well. So, because of the traction, I'm putting an A. Same thing with the Vision 9, but actually, I might put it in B tier because it is a little bit high up off the ground for the cushion. It's really soft for the actual midsole, and step and comfort's nice, but because it's higher up off the ground and there's so much compression, it does feel a little bit mushy if you want a really responsive setup, especially for guards, right? So yeah, because of that, and also the traction not being the best for dust, I'm putting it in B tier. The 8083 Ultra V2, and also all of the 8083s, so the 8083 Ultra and then the regular 8083, easy S tier. Amazing cushion, responsive, low to the ground, but also you have pretty good impact protection. Just be careful on harder impacts. The traction is top tier. The material is thin, but also very, very supportive, and it has really nice quality for the actual shoe as well. So that's why I'm putting in S tier. All right, the shadows, I'll put it in same thing as the Vision 9, you know what I mean? It's a little bit higher up off the ground. I mean, those shoes are geared more towards like outdoor use, so that's why the cushion is a little bit higher up off the ground. But yeah, same thing as the Vision 9, right? All right, AE1, solid S tier / maybe A. The only thing, of course, is the weight, because this shoe, the AE1 is definitely like one of the heaviest shoes that you can get, but it's not super bulky, so it doesn't feel bulky really at all. So it's not a huge deal for me personally. The traction is top tier, one of the best tops that you can get in any basketball shoe. The cushion's low to the ground, but also very comfortable for step and comfort and all that, and support's great. You feel really quick when you're playing in the shoe. That's why I like playing in the AE1, even though it is on the heavier side of things. Same thing with the Harden Volume 8, but I feel like I put it in A tier, because it is a little bit bulkier, especially in the heel, because of all that foam and stuff like that. It is the same weight as the AE1, a little bit lighter actually, but it is bulkier, so that's why I'm putting it in A tier. But still really nice cushion, low to the ground, and then the traction is really nice as well, but it picks up a little bit more dust than the AE1. So I also really like the inner booty. You know what I mean? It feels like a sock. All right, next we got the Dame 8 Extended Play. That's a easy nah. You know what I mean? It's really bulky. There's a lot of padding in the upper. The cushion's high up off the ground. The traction isn't the best. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not the best. So yeah, I just don't think it's the best for guards. I don't. If you're a guard, I think you should stay away from that shoe, in my personal opinion. The Donna Shoe 5, I give it a solid A. You know what I mean? The traction is good, but not top tier. That's why I'm docking it down to A. The cushion is pretty nice as well. It's not the best for court feel, but also step and comfort isn't the best because it's just the stiffer stroke board, but it's pretty nice. Light Strike has good compression, and then The upper also is a little bit on the stiffer side of things, but it's very supportive. But that's why I'm putting an 8, you know? Traeyoung 3 is an easy nod. This shoe is also freaking bulky. It's really long and bulky, you know what I mean? And I literally had two, like the Traeyoung 3 and another shoe in the same exact size. And the Traeyoung 3 was like, what, like an inch or two longer? You know, that's how much the midsole protrudes out. And it's just how bulky that shoe feels. Traction also isn't the best, you know what I mean? So that's why it's a nah. Jaw 1 Easy S tier. You know what I mean? Traction is great. It's a really lightweight shoe as well, even though it doesn't look like it. The cushion also is very responsive and impact protection is adequate. You know, you have nice compression in the heel, 4-foot zoom in it. It's a thin material. It's very supportive too, so that's why it's an S tier. The KD16, I give it a solid A. The traction just wasn't the best for me. Because I had a translucent, so maybe that's why. But you know, just from my experience, the traction wasn't the best, so that's why I'm putting an A tier. But the cushion, of course, is really nice. I love the compression. It's just amazing. It's just not the best for responsiveness, and also it doesn't have the best court feel, but it's pretty good for court feel. You know, it's a really supportive shoe and stuff like that, so that's why A tier. Sabrina 1 Easy S tier. But the only thing I didn't really like about that shoe was just that it picks up a good amount of dust. That's why I didn't like it, but other than that, you know, traction is pretty dang good. Cushion also is really nice, just like the Jaw 1. It's responsive, but you have a little bit of bounce and compression and great court feel. The upper is really thin though. And also another thing to watch out for is that it's not the most durable shoe. Like the upper doesn't feel durable, right? GT Cut 3. Easy S tier, amazing traction, cushion's great. You have good court feel, responsiveness, but once you get going, it does get kind of soft and kind of bouncy. Yeah, it's just a really nice, responsive shoe. And I also really like how springy that shoe feels. Because it has, like in the forefoot, it has a nice little spring back, you know, so that feels very nice. The GT Hustle 2, I give it a solid A. You know, the traction isn't the best, but it's alright. The cushion, full-length zoom strobo is really nice. Upper is not the most supportive. That's why I also don't really like that shoe, because it's a really thin, crappy feeling material, but I guess it's really minimal. So that's good, but it's not supportive, you know, especially if you're doing a lot of lateral movement. So that's why I'm putting an A tier, maybe borderline B tier. Yeah, GT Jump 2, probably not the best, you know what I mean? Nah, or B tier. I mean, it's obviously it's a nice shoe, but for guards, I don't think it's the best, you know. Traction, it's not top tier, but solid, so that's good. But cushion is super high up off the ground. And it's just really bouncy, has a lot of compression, and it's also on the heavier side of things, so that's why I'm not recommending it to guards. Next, obviously LeBron 21, S tier, amazing traction, just picks up a little bit of dust, but if you keep up with your wipes, you're good to go. The cushion is really nice, you know, pretty good court feel, but you got that Zoom turbo unit in the forefoot. Heel has a lot of compression. It's supportive, so yeah, easy S tier. Next gen, I give it a solid A because it is heavier than the LeBron 21, and also the material is a good amount thicker and a little bit stiffer as well. So that's why I'm putting an A tier because of the upper, but it's still really nice. It's just if you want a really minimal and, you know, really soft, smooth feeling shoe, the next gen Amped isn't the best. Luga 2, yeah, B. I don't like that shoe. I don't know how Luga plays in it, but it's just a really stiff feeling shoe, which yeah, I don't like. Traction also isn't the best, but if you're playing on a clean court, you should be fine. But the cushion it's responsive, but it's just not great, you know what I mean? Step and comfort isn't great. It's just overall upper is also really stiff, so I didn't really like that either. So yeah, I'll give it a solid B. Tatum 2, I give it a solid A tier, maybe A/B. You know, the traction just on dust wasn't the best, but if you're playing on a clean court, you should be fine. The cushion also with the full-length air strobe unit is really nice. And also you get pretty good court feel, and the upper is supportive, but it gets soft once you break it in, so I like that too. So I give it a solid A/borderline B. Same thing with the Jordan 38 low, you know, or the regular Jordan 38. I do like the overall cushioning setup because it's full-length zoom strobo. However, the traction isn't best, especially on dust. So that's why I'm docking it down a little bit. But overall, if you want a really bouncy setup, this is a nice shoe, right? Next, we got the GT Cut Academy, which is easy S tier. It's one of the lightest tube shoes that you can get, and also one of the most responsive. It's just like a shoe that you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Because the cushion is really responsive, but also still soft. And then traction is top tier, has amazing bite. The upper is thin, but also very supportive. And I would say it has better quality than the GT Cut 3, which is crazy. It's $100 cheaper, so GT Cut Academy, amazing. Giannis Immortality 3, I give it a solid A. It's just the cushion is really lackluster. That's why I'm docking it down. I mean, if you're a guard, cushion isn't the most important, but some of these shoes, like, LeBron 21, the AE1, has really nice cushion. So that's why I'm docking it down a little bit. But overall, traction's nice. Support is okay. And it's a really cheap shoe, so that's why I'm putting in A tier. Next, we got the Zion 3. Zion 3, I give it a solid A tier. It's just, it does pick up a lot of dust for traction, so just be careful with that. But the cushion's super duper nice. So it's a very supportive shoe too. Just be careful on the fit because it is a very narrow shoe, right? Next, we got the LeBron Witness 8. I give it a solid A tier / B tier. I'll give it a B because the cushion is a little bit higher up off the ground. I don't like the Air Max, but the traction's really good. The traction's really good, but the material is on the thinner side of things, so if you're doing a lot of lateral movements and you need a lot of lateral support, it's not the best for that. So that's why I'm putting it A, borderline B, right? I did put in B though. So there's that. Cosmic Unity 3, nah, don't get it. It sucks. Cushion sucks. Traction sucks. It's bulky. It's clunky. It's stiff. It's heavy. So yeah, I don't like the Cosmic Unities. Freak 5, same thing as the Jaw 1 and Sabrina 1. 4-foot zoom unit, has nice compression in the heel, but also a little bouncy. Traction was really good for me personally. Support's great. So yeah, it's Freak 5, really, really nice. Did you see on the Nike site it says Giannis Freak 5 instead of Zoom Freak 5? What's up with that? Why do they do that? I don't know. But anyways, there's that. We got the Shockwave 5 Pro, which I'll give it a solid A. It's just not the best for dust performance. Dust performance was not great. But other than that, amazing cushion. You have that soft mesh showboard. It's great for court feel. Upper's thin, but also really, really supportive. So I do like that. But GH4, Gordon Hayward's 4th signature shoe is amazing. It's underrated. It's a sleeper. Do not sleep on that shoe, So yeah, it's just like the Shockwave 5, but way cheaper, and it has more consistent traction. The cushion is really, really nice. It's not as soft for a step and comfort as the Shockwave 5 Pro, but it's supportive. It has that really nice lockdown system with the laces, you know what I mean? So yeah, the GH4 is super duper nice. Same thing with the Kai 1. The Kai 1 is definitely the most comfortable shoe as far as in terms of cushion. For guards, I would say. It also still feels responsive. You know what I mean? It's not mushy at all, but it's still really soft and comfortable right underneath your foot with the N2 foam and the soft mesh showboard. Traction is really good and consistent. I wouldn't say it's like, as far as the bite goes on a clean court, it's not as hard as, like the AE1, the LeBron 21, the 808 threes, but it still has a really solid bite, but it's just really consistent, and support's great. Material does break in really nicely as well. It gets soft and stuff like that. So Kai 1, easy S tier, and same thing with the Zap 1. You know what I mean? If you want like the Kai 1, if you've tried the Kai 1 on, which you probably haven't because it's really hard to get, but the Kai 1, it's like a little bit more responsive feeling because the N2 foam feels a little bit thinner. There's not as much compression. So the Zap 1 feels a little bit more responsive, and also it's thinner for the material. It's lighter. The traction also has a little bit harder of a stop than the Kai 1. So the Zap 1 is still S tier. Really, really nice. The AG4 is easy S tier as well. It's $100. Which is really cheap, but traction is really good. I love the cushion. It has a really nice soft mesh strobe board, so it feels really nice for under the cushion. Support's great. Quality of the material is still pretty dang nice. It's kind of like a knit material a little bit, but a little glued down. So there's that. We got Jokic's shoe. Nikola Jokic, and I've been playing that shoe. I don't like it. Traction's not great. It is sliding around, right? The cushion also, even though it is using a soft mesh showboard, it's like stiff. So I don't like that. It's super caged. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to you guys. Same thing with the AG4 Soar, you know what I mean? Because I love the AG4, but the Soar version, which is supposed to be the nicer version with a drop-in, I thought it was gonna be super nice. It's not that nice, you know what I mean? It's super stiff, very clunky, and the traction is pretty nice though, but it's just a really stiff shoe, so I didn't like it. Player 1 Plus, you guys already know, easy S tier, performs like a Kobe, you know what I mean? So amazing traction, low to the ground cushion, but adequate cushion as well, and you can put different cushioning setups in it, because Serious Player only sells different drop-ins. Material's thin, but also very, very supportive, so easy S tier. Game 1 mid, I give it a solid A. You know what I mean? The traction isn't the best, but once you break it in, it has a pretty good bite. Same thing as the Player 1 Plus, but it's a little bit stiffer and also a little bit higher up off the ground and a little bit heavier. You know what I mean? So because of those reasons, I'm docking it down from the S tier to A tier. AR1 easy S tier. It's a really, really responsive shoe. Amazing, like one of the best tractions you can get. Cushion is low to the ground. It's responsive, adequate for impact protection. Material is thin but very supportive, conforms to your foot extremely well, and it's just a really nice overall performer for guards, in my personal opinion. All right, we got the Fresh Foam BBV2, which is easy B. Same thing with the Hezi Low and the 2AV4. I give it a solid A because it has better traction than the Fresh Foam BBV2, right? But yeah, it's just higher up off the ground for the cushion, which I didn't like, and the traction wasn't the best for the Fresh Foam BBV2. So because of those reasons, easy B tier, but the 2AV4 has better traction, and yeah, because of that, I put an A, right? All right, next we got the Kobe 8 Pro Tro, which is an easy S tier, super duper lightweight, very minimal feeling shoe. Traction is top tier, very consistent on all surfaces. The cushion also is nice with the full length drop-in React foam, although it's not the best because it's super thin, but it's better than the original Kobe 8, right? So yeah, easy S tier. So all the Flowtros, right? The Curry 4 low Flowtro, the Curry 4 Flowtro, the Curry 2 low Flowtro, the Spawn Flowtro, the Curry 11s. Yeah, I give it a solid A slash S tier, you know what I mean? Because the cushion just isn't as nice as some of the cushioning setups on, like even comparing to the GT Cut Academy, I give it an A tier, you know what I mean? But the traction is really nice, especially if you're playing on a clean court. But if you're playing on a dusty court, it's not great, you know? But it's a really lightweight shoe, very minimal feeling as well. So that's why it's a great guard shoe. But because of the traction, also the cushion not being amazing, I'm docking it down to A. Liren 4 easy S tier, but Liren 4 V2, which is a low, came out a couple months ago, which I really want to get my hands on a pair, but it's really expensive. And it looks pretty much the same as a regular Liren 4. But yeah, amazing cushion. The cushion is really bouncy. The traction is really nice as well, but it does pick up a little bit of dust. But it's still pretty good, on dust. And then the upper's minimal. It's thin. It's a very supportive shoe too. So Liren 4 is really nice. Book 1, I give it a solid A tier, you know what I mean? It's a really nice bite, but it does pick up a little bit of dust, you know what I mean? But it's not affected by dust that much. And once you wipe, you're good to go. Cushion is really responsive and low to the ground, but not the best for impact protection in the forefoot. That hurt my foot. And also, the fit was just really, really tight for me, but, it's just for me. And if the fit was good, I wouldn't mind it as much. So because of the cushion, I think I'm going to dock it down a little bit, you know what I mean? And also the forefoot lateral containment wasn't the best in the book 1. All right, next we got the JB2 Easy S tier. You know what I mean? It is a little bit on the heavier side of things, but it's not as heavy as the AE1, of course. But the traction is really good. If you've played in the Curry flows, right, and you love the stop, the instantaneous stop that you get, the JB2 has an instantaneous stop, but with a rubber, which is crazy, right? And also, it bites through dust way better than Curry flows. So I like the JB2 traction better. And then the cushion is bouncy. It feels very similar to the Liren 4. It's using full-length boom. However, it's not as bouncy, but it's still a nice bounce. And then it's a very supportive shoe. It's a thin upper. It's great for quality. So the JB2 is really, really nice, especially if you're a guard. So anyways, of course, again, like I said, this is just my list, but there are a lot of shoes that are amazing for guards. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, Harden Volume 8 should be an S tier, but like I said, it's a little bulky, So yeah, I really like my list, and if you get any of these shoes in S tier for guards, you should be good to go. But anyways, that about concludes this video. Again, tell us what your list will be down in the comment section below, right? So actually tell us your S tier, and also tell us your nah tier, you know what I mean? Also, again, if you guys want to copy any of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.